Welcome back to the channel, everyone, and our next retro movie theater review. Paul Verhoeven has a reputation for pushing the envelope in his films. Hollow Man, Starship Troopers, RoboCop, Total Recall, and today's feature film, 1992's Basic Instinct. As you look at his resume, one thing is for sure. If you're in a Paul Verhoeven film, you will probably end up dying in brutal fashion, performing in scenes with explicit nudity, or, most likely, both. Written by Joe Esterhaus, who also wrote Flashdance, Sliver, Showgirls, Showgirls 2, Basic Instinct 2, and Jade, became one of the highest paid writers in Hollywood when he sold his script for the first Basic Instinct for a record $3 million. In addition to a writer and a director who favor giving the Motion Picture Association of America headaches over graphic content, the film stars Michael Douglas, someone who is also known for highly charged sexual content, Fatal Attraction and Disclosure being a couple of his highlights, as the male lead Nick Curran, a burnout San Francisco PD detective. For the role of Catherine Trammell, one of film's greatest femme fatales, Sharon Stone, a B-movie actress, was given the job. As part of her thought process to win the role, Stone posed nude for Playboy, hoping to get the attention of the director and producers. It worked. So spoiler warning for anyone who has not yet seen this film before we continue. Either the US version, rated R, or the European version with its NC-17 rating. We are going to get into some of the details of the plot. Douglas's character is assigned to the murder of a former rock star, Johnny Boz, who was killed with an ice pick while having sex. This is how the movie opens. And major spoiler alert, if you pay attention, that is actually Sharon Stone riding Johnny while plunging the ice pick into his chest. So attentive viewers back in 1992 had the mystery figured out right away. As well, remember, no body doubles were used in this film. That is actually Douglas and actually Stone, as well as Jean Tripplehorn, Douglas's on-again, off-again girlfriend in the film, buck-ass nude throughout. And really, Douglas's character was written as a 40-year-old. At the time, he was 47. And when you watch this opening scene, Stone was so into the moment that she stabbed the ice pick too far down, multiple times into actor Bill Cable's chest, that it penetrated from half an inch to a full inch into his flesh, requiring immediate emergency surgery. So the film starts out with graphic sex, a brutal murder, a bedroom soaked in blood and bodily fluids, and in 1992, DNA analysis was common practice, except the film ignores this, otherwise figuring out Catherine Trammell was the murderer would have made it a real short viewing experience. So from there, Douglas and Stone embark on what is supposed to be a film noir cat and mouse game, where Stone's character, a famous author who writes novels about a burnout detective, teases and taunts the police as Douglas slowly slips into her dark, demented world. There are more murders, more sex, more red herrings in the form of two other women, Stone's female lover Roxy, and Douglas's girlfriend, Dr. Beth Garner, played by Tripplehorn, and here is where the controversy begins. The only three suspects for the murders are bisexual women, which enraged the LGBTQ community at the time. They picketed the production, forcing the director to make up fake call sheets with fictitious locations so the protesters would go there instead of where they were really filming. And again, especially in San Francisco, theaters were picketed and the protesters handed out flyers that said, "Catherine did it," to spoil the movie and influence customers to see something else. But the public backlash did not stop there. It was 1992. AIDS was still the dominant medical issue of the day, and many groups objected to the absence of condoms during the sex scenes, even the scene where Douglas outright assaults Tripplehorn's character. Add to this fact that every woman in the film is either a psychotic, a victim, a deviant, or all three at the same time, and women's groups also had their say about the film when it was released. So, did this impact the box office at all? Hardly. On a budget of $49 million, it grossed $352 million worldwide. Adjusted for inflation, that would be $790 million today. It was a huge hit. But was it a good movie? It was a memorable one. We can start out with that. So let's get to the one thing here everyone's been waiting for.
Hardcore nudity!
Known for having the most famous pause or you might miss it moment in all of film, we get to the interrogation scene where Sharon Stone is not wearing underwear, and she uncrosses her legs in front of a group of detectives revealing her genitals. And no, I do not believe Stone was unaware of this specific shot taking place, as some sources report, or how she was upset when she first found out about it. On a movie set, every scene is meticulously set up. Lighting, camera placement, camera angle, everything. So Stone would have been sitting there, without her underwear on, which Verhoeven had asked her to remove, with a camera and lighting targeting her crotch. Sharon Stone, the woman who did Playboy to get the role in the first place, knew exactly what was going on. Speaking of nudity, In the main love scene between Douglas and Stone, Verhoeven, expecting that the MPAA would have problems with the explicit nature of this scene, shot alternate close-ups, medium shots, and wide shots of virtually every angle over 5 days. This gave him the freedom to edit the scene until the MPAA was satisfied, no longer demanded that the scene was deleted altogether. So yes, you're right. Douglas and Stone spent 5 days naked in bed together simulating sex in front of an entire film crew. But the scene most had a problem with was the assault scene between Tripplehorn and Douglas, where Tripplehorn's character continually states, "Stop it," but Douglas gets more aggressive. Verhoeven ended that scene like the only problem Tripplehorn's character had was that her clothes were torn. Not that she was physically and emotionally hurt. Nope. Needing to sew her buttons back onto her blouse was the big issue. You can imagine some of the negative reactions to that. The film is supposed to be an homage to Hitchcock, using a lot of the same camera angles and backgrounds that he was famous for using in such films as Vertigo and North by Northwest. Verhoeven had a real vision for what he was doing. He and writer Eszterhas did clash at times on changing the material, like when Douglas refused to play the character as written because he didn't want to play a bisexual man, or when Verhoeven wanted Stone and Leilani Sorel, the actress who played the lesbian lover Roxy, to have a prolonged sex scene. Eszterhas thought Verhoeven was just trying to include it to sell tickets. Verhoeven eventually backed down. It must be said the script was a little personal for Eszterhas. He wrote it in 10 days, listening to the Rolling Stones, based the character of Catherine Trammell on a go-go dancer he knew in Ohio. After picking this go-go dancer up one night, he brought her back to his hotel room, and after they were finished, she pulled a load of 22 out of her purse and stuck it in his face. She asked him, "Give me one reason why I shouldn't pull the trigger." He said, "I didn't do anything to hurt you. You wanted to come here, and as far as I know, you enjoyed what we did." Then she said, "But this is all guys have ever wanted to do with me, and I'm tired of it." Eszterhas and the go-go dancer then had a lengthy discussion before she eventually put the gun down. But really, I'm stalling at this point. Is this a good film? Yes, it is. Is it a great film? No. It has become iconic for its graphic nature. It has been mocked, copied, parodied, and referenced countless times in pop culture since its release. A decent whodunit film noir that is covered in sexuality and violence. It is still a good film and worth seeing once, just not with your parents. Douglas plays his role well. The burnout cop was something he had done before in Black Rain. Stone became an international sensation and eventually went on to be nominated for her role in Scorsese's Casino. Verhoeven continued to make cult hits like Starship Troopers. The movie was the number 9 top grossing film in the US that year, competing with Disney's Aladdin, Batman Returns, A Few Good Men, Home Alone 2, and Lethal Weapon 3. God, I miss the 90s sometimes. So yeah, it's a really good film that will forever have a place in the zeitgeist of American cinema. And one more thing, it gave us something I think we can all agree upon loving. Wayne Knight. That's right, Newman. Or better yet, Nedry from Jurassic Park. After seeing Basic Instinct in the theater, Steven Spielberg was so impressed with Wayne Knight's performance, he waited to see the credits roll so he could get his name and become the first person cast in his upcoming dinosaur epic. Therefore, even if you disagree with my review and my placement of Basic Instinct in film history, I do not think you can disregard its greatest gift of all, an immortal meme. And that's what I think. What do you think? Have you seen Basic Instinct? Do you place it amongst the very best that 90s cinema had to offer? Or, for you, is it a film that no longer has a place in current day society? Remember, if you want more movie reviews and anecdotes, check out the other offerings I have in my Retro Movie Review Theater playlist and my reviews of Atlas, starring Jennifer Lopez, and Furiosa, starring Anya Taylor-Joy and Chris Hemsworth, by clicking the thumbnails at the end of the video. With that, I thank you for watching, and remember, I'm still your reluctant gringo, and from south of the border, salute, and I'll wave.